Hi besties, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tay and today we are doing the TBR prompt jar challenge for the month of May, which is just crazy. I cannot believe how fast this year is going. I think back of the last 4 months and like, what have I done? Nothing except read books, but honestly that's just the best thing to do anyway. Before we jump into this video, I do want to apologize. I think I might be getting sick because I've got the runniest nose this morning and I'm really feeling it in my head. Either I have something going on with my sinuses or I'm sick, so I do apologize if I sound a little nasally and blowing my nose a lot, but we still have to get on with this video because this is my favorite part of the month, my favorite video to do ever. I'm sure you've seen other people do this video before, but if not, I've got this jar and I've put in a bunch of little prompts to help me pick out a book from my TBR card. So this is my TBR card. It's got all of the books that are currently on my to be read list, TBR, and hopefully these prompts will help me pick out some books that maybe I wouldn't usually gravitate towards picking up, or it'll help me step outside of my comfort zone or whatever. I really love doing this TBR challenge because it does often get me to read the books that I probably wouldn't usually pick up. I'm going to be honest with you guys, last month, the month of April, I actually didn't even read one of my TBR prompt jar books, and I feel so bad because obviously there's a point to me doing this video. I want to have this TBR challenge and I want to have these books to be able to guide me in my reading for the month. However, I just was so busy with other books, and I do fear that I might be a little bit busy with books this month as well, because if you're not aware, the fifth book, the sixth book in the Boys of Tommen series is being released at the end of this month, and I need to catch up on that series, and so we will see how I go with these books, but I still definitely want to do the challenge, so let's just jump straight into it, shall we? I usually pick out 4 books for the month because I'm a pretty slow reader, so let's just jump into it. I definitely need to update this jar because it's running very low. So if you have any prompts that you think I should add to it for next month, let me know in the comments. So let's pick out the first book. The most recent book added to my TBR. Oh, this is going to be hard because I've been on a book buying ban for a while now. So I have not purchased many books recently. I have books that I have purchased, or I have books that I've been gifted. So it says added to my TBR. So I guess that would just be literally the last book I popped on here. I actually have a few books that I've put on here that were put on at the same time, and those were the last books that I popped on here. So let me just grab them and then we can go through them. Okay, so I have 3 books here. Now, these 3 books were actually given to me by my bestie Liz. If you don't know her, she was in my vlog a few weeks ago. You should go check it out because she's so sweet, so cute, and I surprised her for her birthday. So whilst I was there, she actually had a bunch of books that she was destashing, and she's like, do you want them? And I was like, of course I want them. I always want some new books. So let's go through them. We've got The Bad Ones by Melissa Albert. I have no idea about these books as well, guys, so let's just learn about them together and figure out which one sounds like the best. A Game Gone Wrong, A Town Full of Secrets, A Missing Friend. In a single winter's night, 4 people vanish without a trace across a small town. Nora's best friend Becca is one of the lost. Determined to find her, Nora discovers a string of coded messages Becca has left. These clues point to another missing girl 30 years prior, and a sinister urban legend, a goddess figure who played an eerie role in Nora and Becca's own childhood games. As Nora unravels the mystery, it's soon clear there are dark forces at work in her town, and they'll stop at nothing to keep their secrets buried deep. This sounds really fascinating. Wait, it's kind of like mystery, fantasy vibes. Goddess, count to 5 in the morning, who's alive? Ooh, that sounds pretty good. Definitely a contender. Then we've got A Hunger Like No Other by Kresley. This has got a really cool cover. Okay, this has got a long synopsis, so I'll read this one to myself. I'll just read the little top part. An innocent vampire and a ruthless werewolf king are drawn together by an unexpected soul bond in an electrifying start to Kresley Cole's internationally best-selling Immortals After Dark series. Okay, slay. So it's the beginning of a series. This sounds really good. It's like a fantasy. Obviously, it's a vampire werewolf situation. We've got Lachlan, and he is kind of, I'm getting the vibe that it says here TBR, for 150 years he has dwelled in darkness until the scent of his fated mate compels him to break his chains. And then we've got the half vampire, half Valkyrie, Emmeline, and she has been kind of hidden away in New Orleans by a coven. And then she's on her first adventure in Paris, where she's trying to uncover the mystery of her parents' death and perhaps even her first kiss. And so basically I think that they're actually like mates, and once they meet, like I think Lachlan knows that they're mates. I'm not sure if Emma does, but when they meet he kind of is expecting it to be that like instant kind of connection kind of thing, and then discovers that she is just like, I'm not into this is weird, and like giving him obviously standoff vibes, but I feel like that's going to be giving banter and all the fun things. So that sounds really good. And obviously they come across some sort of evil immortals and they have to destroy them or whatever. So that actually sounds really good, and it looks like it's a shorter read, so I love that. For the third book, we've got Romancing Miss Stone by MC Vaughn. So much for a perfect plan. That's what it says on the front. This has got the coolest cover. I love it so much. His perfectly planned life is about to go wild. Okay, so this one sounds like a really fun, cutesy romance. It sounds like there's a lot of banter in this. These three books actually all sound really good. They're all books that I really haven't seen on Book Talk before, which I kind of really love. I guess it just depends on what kind of mood I'm in, whether that is romance or fantasy. I feel like these are both fantasy, but definitely giving different vibes. This one's more of like that classic mates, werewolf, vampire fantasy, and then we've obviously got this like mystery kind of dark goddess kind of fantasy. I just don't know what I'm feeling. I do feel like because I'm reading the Boys of Tommen series this month, I do need a bit of a change up, so I don't know if I'm going to go with the romance, even though that sounds really good and I hopefully will be reading that sometime soon. I do, however, think that this is kind of the vibe that I might want to go for this month. I feel like this sounds really good, but I just don't know if I'm kind of in for this. I would love to switch up a little and just read like a classic fantasy, so keen for this, and it's super short, which I'm very intrigued. So that is the first book on the TBR challenge. I feel like that was a long one. Let's grab the second one. A book with mixed reviews. So it's definitely gonna have to be a book that is popular on Book Talk, Bookstagram, and all of that stuff. A Fate Inked in Blood. I've seen mostly good reviews of this. However, I do have one bestie boo, Liz. We all know her, and she is so terrified of reading this book because she's heard bad reviews from both her wife and her friend Kate. She said that they did not enjoy this book. However, I have two other besties who love this, so that is definitely mixed reviews for me. The next one is definitely Caraval. I had this on my TBR last month and I didn't read it, and I really am wanting to get to it. However, again, I've had so many people who have said that they didn't enjoy this. I'm pretty sure all of my three besties said that they didn't enjoy this. However, it's obviously super big on Book Talk, or was super big on Book Talk, and also I have the whole series, have the whole Once Upon a Broken Heart series that I want to get to. However, obviously I want to read this one first because they say that you should. You don't have to, but you should. So this is definitely a huge contender because I was planning on hopefully getting to this soon. This one's obviously a lot bigger. The text is pretty big, so that's definitely a plus. The text is also very big in Caraval as well. I feel like I could get through either one of these pretty quickly. Again, I am just like not sure which one to pick. Why is this so hard this month? So I feel like maybe I should pick Caraval, but should I switch it up a little? Because I had this on my TBR last month. Or should I just do it because I finally need to read this book? Like, this has been on my TBR for so long. I think I'm going to go with Caraval. I'm just going to do it because it needs to happen. And I feel like I am getting the itch to read this soon. So hopefully I will read this soon, but I need that push for Caraval. So let's pop that one onto the TBR as our second book for the month. I feel like so far this has been good. However, been a little hard. I don't know why. Like, this is a hard month, but I feel like this is turning out to be a pretty good month. I think it's going to be interesting. So let's pick out our third prompt. A book from my previous TBR. Are you joking? Joking. I literally could have picked Caraval. I could have done that. Oh well. Obviously I didn't read any of the books that were on my TBR last month. So let's figure out which ones I have left. Caraval, Swift and Saddled, Whisper, and Redeeming Six. Now Redeeming Six is already on my own TBR for the month of May because like I said many times already in this video, I'm planning on reading the Boys of Tommen series this month. So I feel like that would be the smartest one to choose, is Redeeming 6 and popping that on, because I am planning on reading that. I'm currently already reading Saving 6, so let me go grab that book and pop that one on the TBR. I feel like that's just the smartest choice, don't you reckon? Or should I change it up? I feel like I could put Swift and Saddle because it's so small. However, I really do think that I'm just going to get into the same situation I was last month by putting books on there. Like, I just feel like I'm setting myself up for success if I put Redeeming 6 on the TBR. So let's pop that one as our third book for the month of May. For the fourth and final prompt of the month, being on the TBR for longer than 6 months. Okay, that's a good one to try and get some books off my TBR, but I do feel like I've had a lot of these books on my TBR for a very long time. So again, obviously A Fate Inked in Blood, which is down here, you guys can't see it. I know the TBR jar is so far away, but that one is definitely been on my TBR for so long. Like I said, I really do have so many on here that I feel like I've had for so long. I do feel like King of Sloth and also Caught Up have been on my radar for a little while now, and I do obviously have the King of Sin series all up there, and I've only got 1, 2 and 3 because I have not read the 4th book, and the 5th book is currently out, and I am kind of keen to read this, but I do feel a little bit nervous because I feel like I've been out of this series for so long that I am nervous to jump back in if I'm a little confused and I've forgotten things. And then again, Caught Up by Liz Tomforde. I am in desperate need of finishing off this series because the 5th book only came out, Rewind It Back, came out a few days ago, I'm pretty sure. I'm very confused about the release date. I'll put it up here because I feel like I thought it came out in April. However, some people have been saying May, and so I'm not 100% sure, but I love this series. I've obviously only read the first 2 books, but I would really, really love to continue on with the series to be able to then read that one that's recently come out. So again, they both have recent books that have come out in the series and I need to catch up. I just don't know what exactly I'm feeling. I definitely think I'm more in the mood for Caught Up by Liz Tomforde. However, do I need the push to read King of Sloth? I think I'm going to read Caught Up by Liz Tomforde because obviously I already have a very big month for reading, and I feel like if I'm going to choose another book to add to it, I'm going to want a book that I'm desperate to pick up, and this one I'm definitely more inclined to pick up than King of Sloth right now, but I definitely want to get to this sometime soon. Okay, so let me go grab Redeeming and then we can kind of go through the books. Okay, so it's time to go through the 4 books that have been picked for the month of May. Firstly, for the prompt, the most recent book added to my TBR, we've got A Hunger Like No Other by Kresley. For the prompt, a book with mixed reviews, I've picked Caraval by Stephanie Garber. For the prompt, a book previously on my TBR, I've picked Redeeming 6 by Chloe Walsh. And then finally, for the prompt, being on my TBR for longer than 6 months, I've picked Caught Up by Liz Tomforde. Now, I was recently watching Rachel Catherine's TBR Prompt Jar Challenge video, and I love how she puts the books from her TBR Prompt Jar Challenge all in a row on the top shelf. I definitely want to do that so that I can kind of like see them right there. So let me just swap this around and pop them in place. And there we have it, my 4 books for the month of May. I hopefully will get to these because I've been pretty slack recently. I thought before we end the video off, I would mention the other books that are currently on my TBR. As mentioned 1,000 times before, I'm reading Boys of Tommen, but that is just like my personal TBR. For my in-person book club, we're actually reading Whisper by Lynette Noni. As I mentioned before, I've already started reading this. I'm very excited. This one was actually my pick for the month. We have 5 people in our book club, so that does not come around very often. And I'm very, very keen to have a discussion about this book. I feel like it's going to be really interesting. And then for my book club with my long distance besties, we recently did our little like thing where we pick the books. It's such a fun way that we do it. But in the end, we ended up picking The Pumpkin Spice Latte by Laurie Gilmore. I'm so keen for this book. It's going to be so cute. And also I'm obsessed with Gilmore Girls. Like, it is my personality. And so I'm so keen to read a book that has literally people saying it's giving Gilmore Girls. And so that is just going to really really warm my heart up, and it's going to make me very happy. And also in Australia, it's currently autumn, which you'd call it fall in America. And so it's definitely giving those very cozy, warm autumn vibes, this book. And so I'm so keen for that. So those are the two books that I've got for my book club reads this month. Obviously, I've got The Boys of Tommen and the new Boys of Tommen that's coming out at the end of the month as well. So that is kind of my lineup for the month. So many books, and hopefully I can get smashed through a bunch of them. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. And please remember in the comments to let me know if you have any ideas for prompts to put into the jar, because this is getting very sad and very low. So let me know if you have any suggestions. If you made it to the end of this video, I appreciate you and love you. And a way to let me know, leave a little like autumn leaf in the comments. I would love to know who made it to the end. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, because that really supports my channel. And I will see you guys in my next video.